I caught my husband using a spicy dating app. I got them arrested.
From apps to handcuffs. True love story.
Hi, y'all. Using a throwaway account because I don't usually use Reddit. I've literally just found this out, so apologies if this is a bit scattered. I, 34 male, have been with my husband, Richard, 41 male, for just over 10 years, married for a year. We've been on holiday in Spain, Torremolinos, for a month. As most probably know, Torremolinos has a big gay scene. It's like 25% of the population. I did not know that. Some context, we were thinking of moving here. More difficult because of Brexit. We're British. By the way, this comes from user aggravating act 8397 on the r/okstorytime subreddit. So, Richard loves going to the bars in the evening. I, though, have very bad social anxiety, so I don't enjoy it so much. Most nights, he goes out without me, which was fine because I had 100% trust in him. Tonight, after dinner, he brought me back to the apartment we've rented and he was going to go out like usual, but he dozed off in the bedroom. I heard him snoring, so went to check on him. His phone was next to him with Grindr open, with a bunch of messages to some Spanish guy. Spicy pics, intimate words of what would be done. I'm trying to keep this PG, but you get the basic idea, hopefully. Richard was saying how long he was there for, and I think they might have been arranging to meet up. I'm not exactly sure though, because as soon as I saw the Grindr messages, my head was spinning and I felt sick and betrayed. It was such a flip of emotions going from, aw, my lovely man has fallen asleep, to extreme distress. I woke him up immediately. He claims he was just bored and needed some validation and wasn't actually going to do anything. Richard has had some confidence issues since turning 40, even though I regularly tell him how gorgeous he is. I don't know what to think. It's late at night now, so I don't want to get into a full-blown discussion about it. I don't know if I'm being paranoid, but even in England, every time I even went near his phone, he would freak out. I just thought maybe he was worried about me dropping it. I have dyspraxia, so I'm pretty clumsy. Richard would also regularly forget to wear his wedding ring. He does have eczema, so he takes it off when he's using ointment. I'm just all over the place right now. Not even going to bother trying to sleep. I'm here venting because I don't know what else to do right now. Here is the update. Hello, lovely ladies and gents. Thanks for the advice on my original post. It's been a crazy couple of days, but I have an update. Sorry, it's a bit long, but a lot has happened. In the morning, after getting zero sleep, I asked Richard to show me all the messages he had sent. He said he deleted Grindr, but I got him to re-download it. Richard was sitting across the table from me, and suspiciously, it was taking it a while to download. Well, I'm not stupid. I could tell he was deleting stuff. Little did he know I had taken screenshots. Sure enough, when he handed me the phone, all of his responses had miraculously vanished. Only the stuff the Spanish guy had sent was still there. This idiot tried to gaslight me into thinking he hadn't responded. When I showed him the evidence, he said he didn't remember it because he was wasted. He was full of apologies, saying he would never actually do anything, blah, blah, blah. When that didn't work, he said I was overreacting and needed to get over it. Then he got angry and nasty, saying because of my anxiety, I would be nothing without him. Finally, he stormed off and left the apartment. Weirdly, after all of that, I didn't even feel sad, just empty. And shortly after, petty.
Uh-oh.
I sent the screenshots to his mother! Ah! So she knew the type of man she had raised. I blurred out the graphic parts of the pictures. She didn't need to see that.
Wow, OP's good on that part. Good for you, OP.
Good for you. Then I noticed that the Spanish guy, who we will call Senor P, had used his full name. After some social searches, I found out he had a boyfriend. Turns out I actually sort of knew the boyfriend. We'll call him A for Alejandro. Quick context, me and Richard were thinking about buying and running a bar when we moved to Spain. We've had several trips to Torremolinos prior to the month stay, so we were asking people who own bars for advice and getting to know them. Alejandro has owned a very successful bar for 5 years. He's British and speaks fluent Spanish. As he's our generation compared to most of the other bar owners, Alejandro is 35, and we got to know him very well. He's a lovely guy and very forthcoming with advice. Anyway, back to the tea. I decided to let Alejandro know exactly what Senor P had been up to. The bar works as a cafe during the day, and Alejandro usually is around. So I headed down there. I'm pretty proud of myself. I haven't really gone anywhere here on my own due to my social anxiety, but my determination overcame it. Alejandro was there, so I asked to have a quiet word with him and showed him the screenshots. He was livid. He'd only been with Senor P for around 6 months, but he was living with him. He knew Senor P was at his home that day, so he went to confront him. After I told him how Richard had stormed out, he suspected he might have been there as well.
Oh, wow.
Oh boy. Extremely dramatic right now.
I'm excited, but also... let's see how petty. I want to see how petty OP can really get.
Let's see where this
This
leads.
is. I feel like that's the tip of the iceberg.
He offered me to come with. I was nervous because I'm really bad at confrontation, but Alejandro convinced me. He has plenty of staff at the bar, so him leaving it wasn't a problem. We hopped in his car and drove down to the house. Alejandro has a 3-bedroom home, and it's really nice. Anyway, you can probably guess what we found. Richard in bed with Senor P.
Oh, wow.
Oh, my.
Caught in the act.
Oh my God. Now, Alejandro is a 6'4" muscular guy, so he had no trouble dragging them both out of the house, stark naked, and throwing them out. Richard tried to fight back and ended up with a bloody nose. When Richard saw me, he said since I assumed he had cheated, he might well have gone and done it now since our relationship was over.
Dude.
That is, again, so pathetic.
Dude,
Richard
you
is
suck.
pathetic.
You suck.
Pathetic. Like Rachel from Friends, I said, well, you had a heck of a time at the funeral. I'm not usually that quick. I'm a pretty quiet guy, but I was fuming. Alejandro called the cops saying there were some crazy naked guys outside, and Richard and Senor P got arrested. Nice.
Nice.
I am only here for another week, so I was thinking of getting a cheap hotel room, but Alejandro offered for me to stay with him. Like I said, there's 3 bedrooms, so plenty of room, and Alejandro says that he needs to get rid of the defiled bed, so I'll help him out with that. Alejandro's going to help me get my stuff from the apartment. Hopefully, he can get it done before Richard's out and about. Not sure about how long he'll be held for. I might update as things progress. There's a lot going on in my head right now, so hopefully people won't mind if I don't do it for a while. And there is an edit. Okay. Some of you seem to think that because of my anxiety, I couldn't have done any of this. Thanks. You sound like Richard. Yeah. What? That's not.
Oh, yeah.
Why are people saying that?
All right. Thanks, Reddit.
It's called overcoming your obstacles. I have social anxiety when it comes to larger groups of people, but when it's one-on-one or people I know, it's not as bad. Like I said, I know Alejandro pretty well. Also, that's the thing with anger and adrenaline. In the moment, it helps. If you think I was completely calm and collected while all this was happening, you couldn't be more wrong. I was bricking it. I pretty much let Alejandro handle everything. And here's a second update. Hello, everyone. I have a small update. I'm still in Spain. I was meant to fly back Tuesday, but I've extended my stay. The idea of flying back on my own is terrifying at the moment. I'm self-employed, so it's slightly more flexible until I need to go back. I assume Richard has gone back. I don't know, though, since I've blocked his number. I've let family and friends know the whole situation. Alejandro helped me get my stuff while Richard was detained, and I had a friend get my stuff from the house in England. I just left my wedding ring behind.
Just like how Richard leaves it behind with the eczema. And
Go ahead and leave that behind.
good on
OP.
Alejandro, too. Alejandro is like a very understanding guy and understands OP's situation. Good friend Alejandro.
We support Alejandro and OP. Today, Alejandro confessed that he has feelings for me, which was a surprise because honestly, I just thought he was being kind. Richard used to say he could tell Alejandro liked me, but I just thought Richard was being silly. There's definitely attraction there, but I'm not in the headspace to start anything new, especially after being in a 10-year relationship. It would have been 11 this Saturday.
No.
Wow. But we'll always support you guys rushing into our live streams whenever we go live every weekday at 3 p.m. PST on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitch, on TikTok. Just tap our profile and you're in.
Richard's out. OP's gone. It's just now the situation with OP and Alejandro. Where does that go? As long as Alejandro is understanding, great. You're about to hit your 11 mark, your 11-year anniversary. That's rough.
Alejandro is not putting any pressure on me. He just wanted to say how he feels so that I know. Emotional maturity.
Richard, Alejandro, yeah.
Yes. Good Alejandro. He's also just had a relationship end, but he wasn't in love with Senor P, so it's a bit easier for him. I'm just very kerfluffled in my head right now. I let him know that the feeling is mutual, but that I'm not in the right place at the moment. He's very understanding of everything and very lovely about it. He's even offered to fly back with me so I don't have to go on my own. He was planning to see family in England anyway since it's nearing festive time. So yeah, just a small update to let you all know how things are progressing. I might update once I'm back in England and feeling less overwhelmed. Thanks for the nice comments people have been leaving. I very much appreciate it. And that is the end of that story. I really hope there is an update at some point
That they get
that they
together
have a very successful, thriving bar in Torremolinos.
and just have a good time.
yeah.
That's what we want. That's the end of that story, guys. And guess what? The end of that episode.
Oh, I can't argue with that. If you love us, make sure you subscribe.
We love you.
And we'll see you tomorrow.